All right, guys. Welcome to Friday Night Live with the Vegan Zombie here. How's everybody doing? Tonight we have a special guest with us. I have my friend John of John's Conscious Life. And here's John.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So, John also has a YouTube channel, and we're just going to kind of chat with John and take your guys' questions. I guess we'll start out by introducing John. So, you live in Canada, right?
Yeah, so I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, East Coast, and it's pretty close to New York, where you're at.
How far would you say would be?
Um, I think I could probably drive there in like a day.
Oh, so so it is kind of far.
It's kind of far. It's probably like a 2 hour flight.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have been. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me your vegan story and how you got started with YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. So, actually, it's funny because, all right, first of all, before I even jumped on here, I was talking to my girlfriend Jamie and about possibly jumping on and doing a live stream with you. And the funny thing about it is that this channel was one, or your channel, the Vegan Zombie channel, was one of the very first YouTube channels that I started watching like 6 years ago or something like that. And so Jamie had gone vegan before me by about a year. And I have to be honest, I was like very, not like anti-vegan, but I thought I was funny. So I would joke around and say a lot of stupid stuff. And really, I'm the last person in the world that I ever thought would be vegan. But, just kind of kept on learning. And I think watching YouTube, seeing guys like you and John just chilling out and having fun, cooking some good food, and some others. Um, yeah, it was just got the information. It was like, okay, how can I not listen to this, right? How can I not be vegan once I see people thriving and I've got the information? So, yeah.
And how long have you been vegan?
So I don't exactly know the date, but I usually say it's somewhere around my birthday, which is in July. So July will be 6 years.
Okay, awesome. And before that, you were kind of like against veganism?
Um, Before that, I was vegetarian for about a year, but before that, I was your meat and potatoes kind of guy. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was against veganism, but I definitely made a few jokes at vegans' expenses and even vegetarian expenses before that. I mean, what do? You make fun of the stuff you don't understand, right? I think that's kind of a childish human nature that we sometimes have, but it is what it is, right?
And so another thing, you're a runner. You
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what made
Um,
you start running?
well, okay, so only started running, let me see,
Oh, like
almost 4 years ago now. And the reason for that was purely because I was working the company that I work for. I was like kind of on my feet working all day in like a production type of a job, and then I took a desk job doing some sales kind of stuff. And so I had a desk, so I was sitting down all day, still eating as if I was working like physical labor all day, put on 35 pounds that I didn't need. So got into running purely so I could lose some weight and get in shape, and then actually fell in love with it. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's awesome. And you still, how do you run every day or a couple times a week?
So I had an injury last summer that kind of put me out for a few months, and I've been kind of just slowly getting back into it now because it was an issue with like my Achilles and my heel and everything. So it could have been worse had I pushed it, but typically I would be running about 5 days a week. Now in 2018, I actually did a 365-day run streak, ran every day that year, even if it was like rainy or snowy or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of your videos.
Yeah, yeah. It was, it was tough, but my minimum was just to go out and do a mile. But I actually ran 2 marathons that year as well. So at the end of the year, I averaged about 4.5 miles a day. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't think
So
I'll do it again, but it was worth doing once.
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Put a lot of wear and tear on your body that way.
Yeah.
Um,
But actually, it's funny because then, like January 1st, 2019, the first day I took off in a year, I was like kind of bored. I didn't know what to do. I was like, why am I not running? I almost went out for a run just for something to do. But
so what kind of things can people find on your YouTube channel?
well, let's see. My YouTube channel is kind of a mixed bag. I've got some videos on there I've got some playlists with, recipe demos, because I do like to cook. I do some taste tests and things like that. But there's also, a bit of running content, some random vlogging type stuff. I haven't really for a while, but I used to make, some more like well-researched sort of topic videos where I'd kind of talk about something. Um, I don't know, just a little bit of everything. I try to like mix it up because, my life is not just one-sided. There's a lot of different things that interest me, whether it's walking dogs or running or eating vegan food. So, there could be anything I could talk about, and whatever kind of comes to mind at the time, I'll throw in a video usually.
Kika wants to know, do you ever talk about vegan ethics?
Sometimes I definitely have some videos that some of my earlier videos especially I've gotten somewhat more energetic about, and a little bit I wouldn't say that any of my videos are like really in your face, but definitely sometimes when I get passionate about something, I can have a little bit of a strong reaction to like a story that I've heard or something local that's happened, an event where animals are being abused or something like that. And, I like to make a strong case against animal exploitation. So I definitely have some videos where I've talked about ethics for sure. And I definitely sprinkle in that message in pretty much every video to some degree. But most of my stuff is fairly lighthearted, I'd say. But yeah, there's some real dingers in there.
Okay. And for those of you that just joined us, I'm here today with John of John's Conscious Life, fellow vegan YouTuber, runner. And to answer one of the questions I'm looking at right now is when did he go vegan? He's been vegan. This July will be 6 years for him.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we talked a little bit about what's on your YouTube channel. So what inspired you to create a YouTube channel, and how long has your YouTube channel been around?
Well, I'd say that, well, okay, I'll answer the second part because that's easiest. I started my channel in 2014, I'd say. And yeah, it was like fall of 2014. I mean, it's still a small channel. It's not like I got a whole lot going on or anything like that. But what inspired me to do so was, as soon as I went vegan, I realized this was something that was super important to me and like a lifelong thing that needed to be, like, I just wanted to, shout it out off the rooftops, right? Like, how does everybody not know about this? So I made my channel basically as an outlet for me to get my thoughts down, so that even if those videos weren't being seen by a lot of people, I'd have a reference point for things that maybe I'd want to talk about to others in the future. It was as much a place for me to store my ideas, because if I leave them all up here, they'll get lost. So yeah, that was kind of my main purpose, to see if I could even influence a couple of people. And if not, at least I'd have a place where I've recorded my thoughts.
And I'm sure you have, YouTube is a great platform to get a good message out.
Yeah.
All right. And so you've been doing this for about 6 years now with your YouTube and everything. So, what's your normal day like, as far as like, do you go out to eat? Do you make your own food? Are you a junk food vegan? Are you a healthy vegan?
Typically, let's see, typical day for me. Well, I want to, give a huge shout out to my girlfriend, Jamie. She's definitely, made this a lot easier, and inspired me in a lot of ways and motivated me in a lot of ways. So, and having a vegan partner obviously is very helpful, because it makes it a little bit less of a burden when it comes to, like I'm never alone in anything, right? So, and also it's another person that is helping to, like cook meals and things like that. So, huge shout out to her first. But typical day for me, I would say, is like, get up, have my morning coffee, we'll eat some like vegan breakfast or something. I like to keep things pretty simple. I mean, I don't overthink things too much. And as far as like junk food vegan versus like really healthy vegan, I mean, I like to live healthily, and I want to be around for a long time, and running has been a huge part of that. But at the same time, like if I want to try something new, just out of my own curiosity, or to make a video to like tell other people about what I thought, I'm going to do that, and I'm not really going to feel bad about it as well. My main thing is like, I just go about my life as a fairly normal guy in my mid-30s, trying to, be an example of just a regular guy who happens to be vegan. And if I'm eating raw for a day, or I'm eating, a triple light life burger, well, c'est la vie.
Yeah, I agree. So we're getting this question a lot here so far. What does your shirt say?
Okay, so this is the Liberation shirt from Vegan Empire. Chris and Shannon from out in California a few years ago had Vegan Empire. They had quite a few shirts went out, and all some of the proceeds, I'm not sure if all proceeds, but at least some, went to support Gary Yourofsky. They're friends with Gary, and this Liberation shirt is just one of my favorites. I'm really happy to have gotten it. And on the back, there's actually a quote from Gary as well that talks about vivisection and stuff. So, but yeah, this is a great grocery checkout shirt, because people can read the back and be like,
so what does the back say? Can you show it to us?
Well, okay, let me see here. I'll have to bring up my other screen so I can actually see myself.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right if you can't get to it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll figure it out. But I'm not going to do that right now.
Okay, good. Somebody wanted to know, when you went vegan, did your family support you?
Well, I would say that my family, they weren't unsupportive, but I'd been out on my own for quite a few years at that point in time, and because I'll be 37 this year, so I was 31 when I went vegan, so I'd been out on my own for over 10 years, and it's not, I've never been the kind of person who was like really, really around my family every day all the time anyway, but I would say that they weren't unsupportive. But as you can imagine, being from kind of a rural area in small town Nova Scotia, and this is like a big fishing area and stuff like that, definitely the odd man out, and that's okay. I've always kind of been the black sheep, and that's fine. But over the years, it's interesting, because so many like friends and family who at first were like, "Whoa, dude, you're going vegan? Why would you do that? What is that?" It's just interesting to see like over the years how that perception has changed, because it goes from 6 years ago, where these people are like, "You're crazy, you're stupid, why are you doing that?" or laughing at your Facebook posts or whatever it is, to now, years later being like, "Yeah, I saw that. This is a crazy story." Or they're the ones tagging you in posts like, "Hey, you might like this." And it's just interesting how things have changed. But supportive, maybe not, but not like super unsupportive either.
Oh, Heather, are you also from Nova Scotia? Somebody says hello from Nova Scotia.
Oh yeah, I see that. Hey.
So
hi, Heather.
Is it safe to say there's no vegan restaurants where you live?
There's no exclusively vegan restaurants right where I live. There are some, like Halifax is the capital city of Nova Scotia, and I'm about an hour away. There's a couple in there, and I mean, there are some great vegan options in some smaller local restaurants and stuff like that. I think that, again, over the past few years, so much has changed, and I think just public perception has changed as a result of some of the new products that have come out, like some of the plant-based burgers and some of the, as much as I don't, I'm not like celebrity worship kind of a guy. It has gotten more popular. It's in the media. The word vegan actually means something to people now instead of some weird word that gets mispronounced as vegan or something
vegan
like
or
that.
vegan.
So it's we have some options, but yeah, no exclusively vegan restaurants here yet. Soon.
Kika wants to know if you had to say one line to make someone go vegan, what would it be?
Damn, that's a hard one.
I think I would say something either like do the right thing or something along the lines of what if you were in their shoes? What if the roles were reversed?
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, I think that's a really good approach, and I think I'd probably want to say something similar because, yeah, well, you know what, and something that I do say to people all the time when they ask me, yeah, but why vegan? Why is it so important to you? It's, my answer is really like, well, if you can just go about your life normally as you do and still like, eat pretty much the same as you do now, but you can do so in a way that doesn't unnecessarily harm innocent beings, why wouldn't you? Right?
Exactly.
Like why would you choose to keep doing what you're doing when there's an obvious and accessible option? So
Yeah, I agree.
it seems obvious, but it wasn't always.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what's going through some of the people's heads that are so resistant to it.
Yeah.
But
you know what though?
You,
I was there, man. Like I was resistant, and
well,
and like I made the jokes and I made the. So I guess it just everybody comes to terms in their own time, and everybody just like realizes, wait a second, that joke's not funny, in their own time. And I don't know if there's a magic button or a magic phrase, but it just kind of happens.
yeah. Mrs. Nightmare says, what was the hardest part of going vegan for you?
I don't know. I mean, I have to say it was actually pretty easy. And again, I give a lot of credit to my girlfriend Jamie for that because she would make a lot of the same meals that I enjoyed, just in like a vegan version. So it was pretty easy, to be honest, in that way, like from a food sense, and from an ethical stance. I'd say I think maybe the difficult thing, the most like kind of painful of the process at all through the entire metamorphosis, was realizing, wait a second, I've actually been doing things for 30 years that are counter to my morals and beliefs. So coming to terms with my own hypocrisy and shortcomings was probably the most difficult thing. But that wasn't actually difficulty in becoming vegan. It was just a side effect of the process, I guess.
All right, and Chartreuse says, I like the taste tests that John and his girlfriend do. So do you do taste tests?
Yeah, we've got some taste tests. We used to have a vlog channel that we would do some on. We kind of just, got away from it a little bit, but we've done some taste tests on my channel. We've done some on Jamie's channel as well. So my channel, I'll just give a shameless plug here. My channel is John's Conscious Life. Hers is My Conscious Life. And so we've done some taste tests on there as well. But, we'll do honest reviews. Like, nobody's paying us to do these reviews, so if we don't like something, we'll say it. But most things are good.
Read them through the comments here real quick.
Yeah, for sure. I see Produce Not Pills. Ashley says, John's Conscious Life, great dude. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that.
If you're just getting here, like Terry wants to know who the guest is. This is John from John's Conscious Life. And so what's your go-to meal?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What is your go-to meal? What do you like to? What's your favorite vegan meal?
I like a lot of different types of food, but honestly, I could, and I know this sounds like really just sort of cliche, and I'm sure everybody's probably sick of it, especially now under the current situation where we're probably cooped up a little bit more and eating a little bit more convenient stuff. But honestly, I could eat something like I could eat a rice dish like every day. I could eat rice and beans literally every single day of my life. I love it. You know, you throw some spices in there, and just the texture of rice and beans is perfect for me.
So burritos,
Yeah,
burrito bowls, stuff like that.
anything like that, like
Curries and
burritos. I could eat
rice.
that every day. Any kind of just like a Mexican style bowl or something like that. I love it.
I agree. I like it too. Although I am kind of full right now, so I'm not thinking of food.
Yeah, me either. I had way too many tortilla chips and salsa while watching a movie.
What movie did you watch?
We watched The Vikings from 1958, I think it was. Old school.
I don't
It was a
think I've
good
seen
one.
that one. But we can move on to the topic of movies. What's your favorite movie?
Um,
Or do you not have one? Do you have a few favorite ones?
yeah, honestly, man, I don't really have like a favorite, but I really enjoy anything that just kind of gets you thinking. You know, I'm not one for just like mindless action, although, you know, an action movie can be fun. I don't really get into comedies too much, but again, they can be fun. But anything that really just like makes you think or makes you think, wow, like this is a cool concept. Like something that just comes to mind would be like a story like Inception with, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, um, and, you know, Ellen Page and
I was
the rest
actually
of the
just
crew that
talking
was in
about
that one.
Inception the
Just
other
an
day.
interesting story, you know, something kind of psychological like that is just. I enjoy something like that more than your average popular movie, maybe.
Is there a certain genre that you like, or it's just
Uh,
anything that's good?
well, we'll call it like psychological thrillers or things like that. You
Like,
know,
do you like horror movies? Do you like zombie movies?
I haven't really historically been into like horror stuff or like zombie stuff, and I know you're the vegan zombie, so you know. But there are exceptions. But typically, I haven't really gotten into it too much. But I can appreciate anything from pretty much any genre if it's well done. That's the
Right.
You know, I don't just like watch something for the sake of it fitting into whatever genre I like. If it's well done, I can appreciate it.
I feel the same way, actually.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Back to food. I was thinking, was there, once you went vegan, was there something that you like, that you missed or craved, or was it all good?
I mean, I'm not going to say that I really craved anything, but, you know, there are certain tastes and textures that aren't going to be like exactly the same. I mean, you know, we've got some great alternatives out there, and there's a lot you can even do with just like homemade seitan or tofu or anything like that. But the reality is, there's going to be some things that you're just never going to get like quite spot on. And like I said, before I went vegetarian and then vegan, you know, I was like your meat and potatoes kind of guy. So I would eat things like I would eat steak and stuff like that. And you know, it's not like I missed those things or craved it, but um, for the first little while, maybe I would just randomly think about it, but not like in a way that I actually wanted it because I knew what that meant. It was just more like muscle memory sort of deal. Like it was like when I quit smoking 7 years ago. Every now and then I would just think about smoking, but like obviously I didn't want a cigarette. I quit, but you know, stuff like that.
Just went through your mind.
Yeah.
So, living in Canada, I'm sure that you guys have different vegan products there, and probably have some that we don't have, and then we probably have some that you don't have. Is there something that you've heard of, that you've seen on YouTube videos or Facebook or whatever social media, that you really want to try that you haven't tried?
Um, I would say if you'd asked me that question about a year ago, I could probably have like a 2-page list.
Yeah.
But there seems to be an abundance of items now that it's like, you know, it's growing fast, man. Like even 5 years ago, the only thing in my grocery store for vegan food was like maybe some Daiya cheese and We have like this Eve's brand, YVES. It's like some, meatless meats and stuff like that. That's
Yeah, I
been
had some
around
of
for a
that today.
while.
Yeah.
Tofurkey slices might have been around 5 years ago in our grocery store, but now it's just there's so much. So honestly, I can't think of anything. I'm sure that the second I get off this live stream, if I look at Instagram, I'm going to see something that's going to make me think, "Damn, I wish I had that right now." But yeah, not really.
Janelle wants to know if there's a vegan influencer that you would like to meet.
Vegan influencer that I would like to meet. You mean aside from yourself, Chris, and maybe John as well? Um, yeah, no, seriously though, there are not a lot of like big named vegan influencers that I really like follow religiously or anything like that, but there are definitely some key folks who were a part of my going vegan and learning about it. So, I'd already mentioned I've been watching your channel when I first started out. I think, meeting Ryan and Angie at Happy Healthy Vegan would be cool, just to chill with them for a day. Again, those were folks that I watched early on. Um, but really, I mean, I don't know. I just think it'd be cool to meet anybody really who is kind of doing a similar thing, and yeah.
Do you know any other vegan YouTubers up where you live other than you and your girlfriend?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a few like that live in the area, but um, I don't think there's many that really like make videos super regularly or anything like that. There is a girl in Halifax that has gotten a pretty good following, mostly just doing like recipe videos and stuff. I think her name's Liv B or something like that. She's like a vegan cook, and she's done quite well for herself. But I don't actually know her, so.
Well, if you ever come down here, we should do a little collab.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Cody says Parasite is a good movie. Janelle also likes Parasite. Have you seen Parasite?
I haven't. I will make a note of that on my phone right now.
I will say I watched Parasite last night, and I agree it was really good movie.
Is it new?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. And I gotta be honest, when it first came on and it was all subtitled, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch a subtitled movie right now. But I did. I watched it, and it was really well done. I really liked it.
Okay. One of my favorite movies, actually, getting back to this, that just made me think of something. One of my favorite movies of all time is actually subtitled, and that's Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, I like Pan's Labyrinth.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
I've actually never been to Krispy Kreme because I never even heard of a Krispy Kreme before I went vegan.
Yeah, no, I don't think we even have them here.
Let's see. AJ misses chocolate milk. I gotta say, AJ, Oatly chocolate milk is super good.
Oatly chocolate milk is really great. Ripple chocolate milk is like super legit.
I don't like the Ripple chocolate milk, but
Really? I don't know.
other people I know like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. Actually, you know what though? I don't even mind like the silk almond chocolate milk. Like, I'm not big on chocolate milk, so maybe I'm not as like, I'm not as much of a connoisseur of chocolate milks as other people. But if I'm craving it, I'll just gulp a glass down.
Mrs. Nightmare, yes, we already talked about why he went vegan, and also Vago bars is what you wanted. Have you tried Vago bar, John?
I have, yeah. I had a friend send me one, and it was really good. I mean, I don't know if it's maybe just because I think I'm remembering correctly. That's the one that has kind of like hazelnut in it or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just not like my favorite like flavor combination, but I mean, I wasn't blown away by it, but it was good. I mean, I'd pick one up again at half price if I saw one.
Kika wants to know, do you watch or do you like Vegan Gains?
You know what? I think that Vegan Gains. I think Richard has a really good, strong presence for veganism and for the animals. I don't always agree with everything he says or does. I don't enjoy every single video that he puts out, but that's all right. I think it takes a lot of different people and a lot of different ways of advocating for the animals. And some people you're going to reach with a hard-hitting message. Other people you're going to reach with a softer message. So there's somebody for everybody.
But you do watch every single one of my videos, right, John?
I have watched every single one of your videos for the last 20 years.
Oh my God. Thank you.
No problem.
Marxilium says, I want to know what's both of our favorite kitchen appliance. Yours is definitely a food processor. All right. So, John, what is yours?
My favorite kitchen appliance? Wow. It's the first time I've ever been asked that question. I don't know. I mean, here's a funny story. I literally just got a microwave within the past 2 months, and prior to that, I hadn't owned one in about 10 years. And so it's been convenient, but it's still not my favorite. I don't actually have an answer to that question. I like my toaster oven, but I don't know.
I would say for me, it's probably my blender, but a close second would be an air fryer. But
Okay,
I would say my blender.
cool. Yeah, I don't have an air fryer
broke.
or an Instapot, so.
Oh, Piper, I'm glad to hear that your the surgeon saved your mom. Who is Liv B? She's got 650,000 subs.
Yeah, that's the local girl who makes videos about just vegan recipes. She's doing quite well for herself here.
I'm just trying to get caught up here.
Yeah, no worries. I see that girl in OKC. Yes. So everyone thumbs up this live stream, please. I second that. I've already liked it, and you should too.
Yeah. No, never been to a Krispy Kreme effervescent. Well, I'm just catching up to the Pan's Labyrinth. I'm gonna go down to like get caught up now. So if we missed your question, go ahead and post it again. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is a really good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time though. It's probably been about 10 years. I own it though.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in at least a year, so I'm soon due. I'm seeing a question here actually that I wouldn't mind answering. Somebody has asked, what do I think about dog breeding? And to that, I say that breed is greed. I am not okay with breeding in any capacity. And I think there are way too many animals that already deserve and need a home. We shouldn't be exploiting the reproductive organs of other species for our own narcissistic reasons.
We got a lot of different. Yeah, definitely try out an air fryer if you haven't. I use mine almost daily. Oh, Terry wants to know where you are. You're in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, so I'm in the province of Nova Scotia, about an hour west of our capital. I'm in just a small town. I'm not going to bother naming it, but yeah, I'm like an hour west of Halifax. Small town, rural Nova Scotia. If I can be vegan, anybody can.
Yeah, I've helped quite a few people go vegan. Some people that I never would have thought would be vegan. So it's definitely never give up.
Yep. It's funny. I've had some friends who over the years, I'd mentioned about this earlier, where they'll get combative about something that you've posted, or they'll disagree with you on something. And I've actually had some people like unfriend me from Facebook, or stop talking to me, as regularly or whatever in real life. And then months later, like find their way kind of back into my little circle and be like, hey man, so I was doing some thinking about those things that you had said months ago that we argued about, and so I'm kind of more on board, or I've made this change or that change. And so even when you don't think you're reaching people, there's a good chance that you are. You're just not seeing the immediate results, or maybe just people aren't, for whatever reason, wanting to talk about them. They need time to process it. And so,
Yeah, I say everybody that goes vegan is inspiring or making an impact on somebody, even if they don't know that they're doing it. They're bringing attention to the fact that it exists and it can be done.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, see it. We've come so far. We've come so far since. I mean, when I went vegan and things were so much different back then, and to see how it is today, we're so much more mainstream about it than it was. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's crazy to me to think you've been vegan for what, like 27 years or something?
Almost 25, a little bit over 25.
Okay, so I mean, just in my 6 years, I see so much change. I can't even imagine tacking on another 20 years to that, how different it must be. So that's amazing.
Effervescent wants to know, is that a bookcase behind you, or are those movies?
Okay, so sorry about my kind of messy backdrop here, but so that is a bookcase, but it's all like Disney VHS. We collect Disney movies, so we've got a nice VHS collection back there. That's right, we still run VCRs in this household. And then this is my like gaming setup. I've got a few video game consoles and games
Atari.
there. Yeah. VHS and Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64. Yeah.
Produce says, John, what approach do you like to take with non-vegans? How do you plant seeds, or do you keep to yourself?
I definitely don't keep it to myself, but the approach that I take is definitely going to depend on the situation and the person. I'm a firm believer in knowing your audience, and it doesn't mean that you have to, in any way, lessen the message or the kind of impact that you would have. It's not compromising your beliefs if you take a softer approach with a certain person under a certain circumstance. I really, really do believe that you need to just, like I say, know your audience, know what's going to work, and try to get inside their mind. What's their motivation? So I can't really answer that question. It depends on the situation, depends on the person. But typically, I like to have just hey, well, like, I'm a normal guy, or at least I like to think so, and this is kind of what I'm doing. So, like, what kind of objections, or like what's preventing you from, making any kind of a change? I try to just fish for information and then work with what they give me. It's a little bit of like a Socratic method type deal, but other times it might be a little bit harsher. But again, it depends on the situation.
Other things. So tell me some other things about John. It doesn't have to be vegan related, but what are some of your hobbies?
Okay. Well, let's see. Definitely like to read quite a bit. I don't read nearly as much as I'd like to, but it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things that just always make an excuse, or I get caught up in one of the other things I like to do. But reading, definitely listen to a lot of music. I listen to a large variety of music. It's kind of like the movie thing. As long as it's well done, I like pretty much everything. There's a couple genres I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but that's okay. Don't want to put anybody down, so I'll stop there. But yeah, music, reading. I used to play a lot of sports. I used to play a lot of baseball, basketball, stuff like that, but haven't really in the past few years because I just don't really have anybody around to kind of share those activities with. But
Do you play any instruments?
what's that?
Do you play any instruments?
I had a guitar for a while, and I mean, I can play a bit. I had an acoustic. I could play a bit and taught myself a couple songs, wrote a couple small little things, but just never really got into it. And I have a lot of like musical friends, and I thought like, hey, that would be really cool. I'd love to be able to do that as well, and we could sit around and jam together and sing songs. But I just never really kind of dove right in. So I don't know. I ended up just selling my guitar one time when I needed a few extra bucks, and I don't really feel bad about it because I don't think I'd played it in like a year. So yeah, but I can play a little bit.
Do you know anybody with the virus? Joseph wants to know.
I don't. There are, I think here in Nova Scotia, there have only been, so Nova Scotia, for those who aren't aware, is one of the eastern provinces. There's about 1 million people here in total. And I think we've only had something like 600 cases of the virus in the entire province so far. So I don't know anybody who's been affected personally.
Dar says, why don't you think that vegans and vegan activists don't use political platform to push the vegan agenda further? Well, personally, I think that everything that vegans do is kind of political anyway. I mean, but I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would use the word agenda. It's the right thing to do. With that being said, I think that we've come a long way, and just because of our presence and getting the message out there, it's kind of it's playing into politics, whether you like it or not. I mean, there's an environmental impact. There's animal cruelty laws. Just waking people up to the fact that, I don't care why somebody goes vegan. I just don't want them to eat animals. So
Yeah.
if you wake somebody up to the fact that it's killing them to kill the animals and eat them, then maybe eventually these people, it's happening already. You see companies that are non-vegan companies start to, go towards vegan products, and then all of a sudden, in a few years' time, they have a ton of vegan products that they're selling. So they know they have a vegan audience. That's kind of political right there, because they know that there's a market for veganism, and that's the direction of what people are going. It's people can use all kinds of excuses out there, like saying that people are just falling off the bandwagon, and somebody tried to say 84% of people that go vegan are not vegan anyway. But the fact of the matter is more and more people are going vegan every year, and it's making more of a demand, and people are starting to wake up. With every person that's going vegan, everybody's waking up and seeing this, and they're talking to their neighbors, and they're talking to their family, and it's just getting out there. It's like an explosion of veganism, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And with that, there's going to be a social impact. There's going to be, companies are going to start making all these vegan things. Dairy companies are kind of going under right now. They're dumping tons and millions of tons of milk and being subsidized, and they know what's in the future for them. So I mean, I'm just going on a big rant here, but I feel like we are doing the right thing in the right direction, and it is maybe unintentional, but it is getting political.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of that. And, I think that the folks that are vegan who have gotten into politics that I know of, who have tried to actually get in to a point where they can introduce law or be a part of a change from the inside of the political system. I think that they've done well to, again, even if they haven't been successful in being elected, they've still brought awareness to, the people who are asking them, well, what's your platform all about? Or like, why should I vote for you? There's a guy locally who, actually there's a few friends of mine locally who in the last election and here in Canada, kind of created and ran as the Animal Protection Party, and their entire platform was to end animal exploitation, and it was basically an animal liberationist platform. And of course, they recognized they had about a 0% chance of ever getting elected and winning, but the message was received. They were still able to bring veganism and animal rights and animal liberation under the spotlight to all of those people. They had a reason to go knocking on your door and talking about it. So I think that's an important step. And I think, it kind of adds to what you're saying, Chris, about the things that are just going to happen anyway. And I think we need to keep the pressure on. And I think there are people that need to get into that political spotlight. I don't know if that's for me, though, but.
Kika, you say, I disagree because it isn't getting the message out enough and enough people want to go vegan. This is why we need animal liberation laws, because time is ticking. I get what you're saying, and that's what we all feel, but I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist, and that is not going to happen by, okay, so animal cruelty is already illegal. It's illegal, and Trump made it a federal crime in every state of the United States for animal cruelty. Now, to be able to take that one step further and say, well, okay, so animal cruelty is wrong, but what about this animal agriculture? What about all this stuff? So that is going to come in time, because even though we want this to happen right now, the realism of the world, it's not going to. You put a law on that right now, and you're going to have so much uproar, because still there's a greater population that's not vegan than is vegan. So what we're doing right now is veganism is spreading. It is getting bigger. We are replacing meat burgers with Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers, and burgers that animals at that magnitude are not having to die because these are being made. So once we can get more and more people to understand this and eat this way and be okay with this and have this ingrained behavior that everybody is born into, not be the norm, you can't just all of a sudden go in there and say, if somebody went in there and tried to put it, that's not going to happen, for one. It's not a realist approach right now in 2020 to say, all right, it is now illegal for all animal agriculture. I mean, yeah, every vegan I know, including myself, would love that for that to be the case, but it's just not real. It's not going to happen like that. So we got to find ways that are real. Not. That's why I'm saying I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist. I like to get things done that are real, that I can have an actual goal to do. And that's what I've been doing for the last 25 years. So, I mean, I guess that's my answer, whether you agree or not.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I got to just add one thing to that. If we can't keep people from protesting stay-at-home orders during a pandemic, we're sure as hell not going to be able to get people to agree that animal agriculture should be illegal. We've got people toting guns because they can't go out to the beach. I mean, come on. But it is a good ideal.
Yeah, you can't force people to do something, You can only show them. Sorry, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But no offense to anybody, but I feel like a lot of brand new vegans have that attitude. They just want to force it down everybody's throat. And I had that same fire within me. But after you see that it's actually counterproductive. You make more people think vegans are crazy and want nothing to do with vegans with that attitude. Not that, I don't feel the same way, but you got to have another. People have free will. You can't force somebody to do something that they're not ready to do or not wanting to do. If you can't force them to do that, you're only going to push them away. So you got to find other ways to get them to do that. And I think that only comes with wisdom.
I also believe that in a capitalist society, because a couple of folks here have made some good points about capitalism being designed for exploitation. I agree with that. But, there are other methods beyond political or legal ways to change minds. And in a capitalist system, if you can affect the bottom line, whether that's through direct action, through activities that maybe are illegal, and I'm not trying to incite anything like that, but through anything that maybe isn't through the political system, but is through having an actual effect on those industries, because really the dollar is the only thing they're going to care about. So whether that's a change in the market or actions that will affect their bottom line, whatever those actions may be, I think those are more powerful of statements than just saying, hey, here's a blanket rule about this.
Here's the reality to it, and you're right with that. Like, it's with the dollar. That's how you're going to change the general population. You show people that there's a demand for this vegan stuff. You show people by leading through example. You show people that they don't have to do without. You show people that there's amazingly delicious and generally healthier products within the vegan realm. And slowly and surely, you're going to start getting more and more people to go vegan, to buy a vegan option rather than grabbing like cow's milk or a steak or whatever. And they're going to be taking the vegan options, and these companies are going to build up their vegan supply for our demand to the point where it's going to balance out, and then the non-vegan stuff is going to be the minority, and the goal for the future is it's completely gone. Now there's no need to bring all these animals into the world and have them suffer and be tortured so we can slaughter them or use their bodies or their secretions. There's no need for that anymore. And that's where it's going to get to that. Yeah, we all want that to happen today, but it's not going to happen today because that's the reality of it. So you got to be open to the fact of how we're going to do that and the reality of the world that we actually live in. You can't change that overnight. So you got to find a way that you can do something that starts to make a change rather than is counterproductive. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes that the vegan that's always shouting at somebody or telling somebody you're wrong and you're doing this wrong and you're a piece of crap because you're eating meat. That's not how to get people to change something and let them see the light. You can't do it that way. It just doesn't work.
I think it would be interesting to see some laws get introduced that did, if not ban, limit some intakes of animals and things like that, just to see what the reaction would be. I think it would be a great experiment. I personally don't think it would go over extremely well, but it's not like I'm against them trying it. It just, I think we would definitely see some rioting. But anyway, I guess it's a great topic because it really gets you thinking not only about the key issue, which is animal exploitation, but also this crazy game in which we have to work within the framework to some degree to try to we don't have to like the way that things are, but we kind of have to get good at the way things are in order to, play the game to beat the game sort of deal. And it sucks, but.
Kika, I don't know who. No one said you were a new vegan, and also, I think this is counterproductive to be arguing with other vegans. We all think alike. We all want the same goal here, so this isn't really the place to argue about veganism. This is for the non-vegans. Try to make that argument with a non-vegan. We all want the same thing here. Well, I mean, you're not making any sense, Kika. Instead of only focusing on leading by example, what do you think leading by example? We're doing all the right things that we should be doing to make an example for others to see, to change things. I mean, that is, in essence, what we're trying to do. So why wouldn't you want us to do the right thing by leading to example? This argument is silly. This is. I hate when there's infighting with vegans. I really do. But it's not okay when you're arguing with amongst vegans here. It's all the same, like that's what we all want. It would be great if they would put a laws against. It's not going to happen. You're not going to put a law in the book saying it is against the law not to be vegan. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. Hopefully sometime people in the future look back and say, I can't believe our ancestors used to eat animals. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. And I don't see them making it illegal to eat animals. So, I mean, this is just a silly argument here.
But hey, you know what? If we get some laws put in place and it works, awesome.
Well, I mean, already compared to like 20 years ago to what we have today, yeah. They're not the best, and they're not as ideal as we would like them to be, but there are definitely laws out there. Go back in time 20 years and see what laws they had then. There's like almost none.
I see there's a question here for me. Have I converted anybody to veganism? I don't know that I would use the word converted, but I've definitely inspired a few people. A couple people have gone vegan, and a couple people have made significant changes. They have not actually gone vegan, but have, and I'm not like ever going to advocate for reducitarianism or anything like that, but I'll recognize that they've made probably a 98% elimination of all animal products in their diet, and so that's better than nothing. But yeah, I'd say a couple people have gone vegan, which is cool. It's always nice to see when you have that effect on people.
What kind of camera do you use?
Currently, I just use my iPhone 8. Bonus points for anybody who can name this guy.
Wait, I can't really see. Hold on, let me... Oh, Land Before Time.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I just use my iPhone to film everything, and right now I'm obviously just on my laptop, so...
I forget, what was his name, Littlefoot?
Yeah, Littlefoot.
Oh, wow.
Eating a tree star.
Yeah. So wait, what, are you on a webcam right now then?
Yeah, that's just a webcam. Like, this is just my laptop camera.
I have a webcam. It's really bad right here. Hey guys, webcam. Well, we've been on for an hour. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't touch upon?
I don't think so. Like, basically, I just try to go about my life. I work in a place where I'm around a lot of different people and interact with a lot of different people on an almost daily basis. And so, just something that I've done personally that I've seen some results with, as far as helping to influence others in seeing the value that animals have, the inherent value and right to life that they have, and understanding veganism a little bit better is just, again, kind of knowing your audience. And I try to think to myself, how is this person going to react? What kind of a tactic should I take with this person? And maybe that's just from my sales history, but I think it's important just to like always keep in mind there's no one magic wand approach. Nothing's going to work for everybody, and you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. And that's why we do see differences of opinion even within the vegan community a lot of times. And I think it's okay. It's just, we need to realize that this is a very multifaceted, multi-dimensional type of a thing. This is so much more than just telling people to not eat animals, or sharing your food on Instagram, or whatever it may be. It's literally every fiber of my being and who I am exudes veganism to some degree, and that changes depending on who I'm interacting with. So I would just implore people to like realize that we'll do our best under any circumstance, and as soon as we can do better, we'll do better, right? And that's all we can do.
I want to say thank you to Elle for the super chat. Good job. I appreciate that, Elle.
But yeah, so maybe then, Chris, I will actually jump off now because I'm actually an hour later than you. So it is 20 to 12 here. And I think that I'll probably jump off here, go to bed soon, get up nice and early. I've got to go walk a dog in the morning, so don't want to be too tired.
Is it still snowing up there?
Sorry, what's that?
Is it still snowing up there?
No, it's been really nice. We had just a couple little wet flurries here the other day, but nothing that even accumulated or stuck to the ground at all. It's been pretty decent. We've had most days like pretty sunny and in the, I'd say, 50s maybe.
It's it was like a blizzard here yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw a post from I think it might have been your post, but I saw somebody else from near you as well, and they had posted about it. And I've got some other friends like in Ohio and stuff, and a couple runner friends who showed their running gear this morning, or over the last couple of days. They're getting out for a run, and they're all bundled up. They've got the balaclava on and winter coat, and it's like, oh, that sucks to be you, but.
All right, well, everybody, John has a YouTube channel, and it's in the video description, and I will also link it right here. So if you guys want to go check out his channel, that's it. I'm sure he would appreciate that. And thank you, John, for being on the show. I'd love to have you again sometime.
For sure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for all the comments and interaction. And, yeah, thanks again, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good night.
All right, peace.
All right, and I think I'm going to get going as well. Thank you all for being on the stream. I enjoyed hanging out with all of you. And maybe we can have some... Oh, and somebody was saying last night before we logged off that maybe have... If there's anybody that would like to be on the show, random people, maybe we could have people call in or something. But you got to be... You can't be inappropriate on the show, though, because I don't know everybody here. So, but if you guys would like to do this, send me a message on the Vegan Zombie contact me form, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. And if you haven't seen my latest video, go check that out too. All right, I'm gonna go. What's awkward? Hold on, guys. We got to find out what's awkward. I love making things more awkward by... All right. Just people trying to start stuff. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.